Hi, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Let's get things going here. Morning blood sugar is 7.3, pretty even throughout the night. I have 0.550, which is left over from a correction here. So let's take another look and see how we're doing here. And time range is 98%. Time I spent over 10 was 0. In range, 98. Below is 2%. And the average sugar is at 6.9%. Awesome number, I would say. Today, I want to talk to you a bit about stupid mistakes I have made with my diabetes over the years. There's been a few, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. Okay, mistakes I've made. Oh God. I sometimes totally amazed that I'm still here. As far as diabetes go, I think I was dealt kind of a rough hand. Didn't mean that that was the only thing that went wrong. My diabetes, if some of you don't know, I'm a labile diabetic, which says why it looks like I'm giving you all these talks from a hospital bed, because technically I am, but not a acute hospital. It's a long-term care where they can watch me and my complications. Something you really want to always be aware is what your blood sugar is. And for years, that was something I didn't really care about. I knew I was a diabetic, I knew what I had to do. But for, I would say, probably from 15, 16 to probably about 23 years. So 6 or 7 years, 23, 24, I did not care for myself. This has got to be the most stupid thing I have ever done. As a diabetic, keeping your blood sugars within your acceptable range allows you to achieve what you really want to achieve in your life. I would get up, I would sleep all day, get up, go to work. I'd work, come home, and while at work, I was eating crap. A lot of times, I wouldn't take my glucometer, I wouldn't take my insulin syringes. I'd just work through the night. Now, if your blood sugar's high, you're tired. Your body's doing anything to function. And you're thinking, oh yes, I'm doing great here. You're not. I would think, I don't know if it was more a mistake or me being in denial. I just wanted to go on and live my life. And things didn't necessarily always work out. Because of this, I would get home. I would be super high blood sugar. Oh, I'll take insulin. I didn't eat before going to sleep. So a number of times I woke up completely sweating. My blood sugar was low. I ate. And so basically it was work, eat, sleep. Work, eat, sleep. That was my life. When I got into doing school, there was a reason. Now there wasn't. Your body gets accustomed to having that high sugar. So when you go start bringing down your blood sugar, let's say you were at 15 for most of the time. When you bring down your sugar, even 5 points to 10, you're gonna feel like crap. And in my mind, oh, I'm low. I didn't test. I'll just go on my merry way. I had a jerk of a manager who threatened to write me up if I didn't stop doing weird things in the back room. Yeah, weird things like taking insulin and doing blood tests. I don't think HR really would have looked that promising on them. Anyway, my next mistake was in the morning, I would throw everything into my briefcase, diabetes related. So we're talking insulin syringes, insulin, glucometer, test strips, And I put it by my desk because I was a manager of an optical store. And the briefcase fell off while someone else was utilizing my office, and syringes fell out. These people are utilizing my office, took it immediately to HR and saying, oh, he's bringing syringes to work. I should have had them better concealed. But you're racing to get out the door and you throw things in. That was a complete mess. A lot of times, I would take insulin because you're supposed to do it 10 to 15 minutes beforehand. And would get dressed, showered, head up, and ideally in my mind was that I was going to eat before heading to work. You find you're running late and you head out the door. Ended up in disaster. I go and I'd be low at, all morning. Could barely make it to lunch. Sometimes I didn't. So your insulin and food are very important. You have a little bit more leeway with the pump, but still things are important that you eat and take your medication. There's an awful lot other medication that you have to take before you eat. During that era of me not taking care of myself, there were a number of close calls. I can remember, and I had to go have day surgery. And I went there and they said, do not eat. But I had always heard, I didn't discuss it with the doctor beforehand, and looking back now, yes, I should have. But I took my insulin because I was always told that you don't stop taking your insulin. So when I went they got me prep and everything, and they came around and they did a blood sugar. I was low. And he came around and said, the anesthesiologist, how was I feeling after? Fine. And he said, well, you were a little low. And I said, well, I didn't eat as was told, and I took my insulin. He said, well, yeah, well, maybe we should have cut that back a bit. He didn't say who was, but he made me feel okay about it. It was a stupid thing. So when I went to get my eyes done, my kidneys, I made sure that we were clear when I had kidney surgery that how much insulin I was to take beforehand, and it worked out so much better. Stupid things at the time can turn into massive problems for you. One of the biggest mistakes I have ever done, and I kind of laugh at it now, but I say I walked from Honolulu to Fiji. That's a nice thing, isn't it? But I was going to visit my mom and stepdad in Fiji. And I took off, and the first part of the flight was fine. I asked to put my insulin in the fridge. Coming down into Honolulu, because the plane stopped in Honolulu on its way to Fiji, the flight attendant came around and said, prepare. And I said, can I have my insulin back? She said, no, it should be fine in the fridge. It'll be okay. I stupidly Said, oh, okay. And back then it was beef and pork. You couldn't really keep your insulin out for any period of time. When we got back up and dinner was being served, I asked for my insulin back. You never saw a flight crew that was so friendly and that get such a serious look on their face. They couldn't find the insulin anywhere. And then we've all seen these on those airport flight shows. But that call came about me. Is there a doctor on the plane? Or a medical professional, I think. And he said, well, you should keep up and walking and trying to keep your blood sugar within range. So I kid and say I walked from Honolulu to Nandi, Fiji. We got off, we had to go to a hospital there and get insulin. Opened the eyes. Now, no matter what traveling, whether in Canada, the States, wherever, I keep the insulin in my hand luggage. And depending on where I'm traveling to, if I'm traveling somewhere where it's quite warm, I'll add an ice pack. If we're not, if we're heading to someplace cold, I don't really worry about it. But insulin now is a lot more better stable. Now, if you're storing it for long periods of time, it should be refrigerated. Outside, it doesn't necessarily have to be. Ideally, you want it to. Comes to the one last step is I let insulin go bad, and I was still injecting it. My blood sugars went through the roof, and I ended up in the hospital over it. Anytime you're getting blood sugars that are within your region, without your area, take care of them. Don't let them end up in the hospital. You could do better being out of a hospital than you do in the hospital. A type 1 diabetic will always handle that to the best of their ability. I was trying to make my mark in life with work, trying to be accepted. Like I said earlier, I probably had denial. But think before you take action. When I said about taking insulin and heading out the door, I should have taken insulin while I was preparing the meal, and then I would have been ready to eat and head out the door. But I also forgot to take insulin too. And by midday, you're not feeling great. I've even gone a whole day at work without having insulin. By the end of the shift, I felt sick. So again, take care of yourself first. If you're going to be late, be late. You're the more important thing. And with that, I hope you have a super day. Remember, take care of your diabetes. And with that, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.